Alright, here's the rig I'm going to use. 1 or 2 ounce weight with a hook tied just above it. And then about a foot or two above that, another hook tied with a dropper loop. These are size 6 hooks. Pretty much just a glorified top and bottom rig. Pretty easy stuff. And let's get to the video. Alright, so here we are on the rocks. Nice calm day, no wind, beautiful clear water. Feel that doom 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 from that triggerfish and set the hook. You know, I'm just casting out right past the rocks. Right into the rocks too. And first triggerfish of the day. These are gray triggerfish. These are the species of fish that are common in the mid-Atlantic and northeast. They usually come in around June, stick around into the early fall as long as the water's warm. You catch them in the back bays, you catch them off the jetties, you catch them off bridges, you catch them on wrecks. You catch them anywhere there's vertical structure. And they like baits like squid, clam, crab, really anything. Triggerfish are really not picky about what they eat. The hardest part about catching triggerfish is finding triggerfish. But once you find them, they're not too hard to catch. You just need to use small hooks, strong hooks. And there he is, nice little triggerfish. Here's another triggerfish. This was a little later in the day. I was jigging a bucktail trying to catch fluke, and I had a school of triggers follow my bucktail in, so I just tied a dropper loop above my bucktail and put a little hook on it, and I tipped it with the clam. So at this point I've got a school of triggerfish right in front of me. And you can't see them right now, but they're down there. And, you know, in this clear water, the triggerfish can dial in on your bait really quick. As soon as it hits the water and falls through the water, triggerfish pick up on it and swim over to investigate. That's a little triggerfish right there. I practiced selective harvest, so I threw that one back. And if you pay attention here, you can see those triggers just a couple feet down. And you can see that trigger following my bucktail. He doesn't see the clam yet. He doesn't see the clam on the teaser hook. All he sees is the bucktail. I'm not going to catch him on the bucktail because there's a big hook on the bucktail. So I'm trying to get him to find my clam. So lift up, he swims up, drop it down. There you go, he sees the clam. He eats the clam, I set the hook and I miss him. I was too quick. I didn't let him eat. So here we go. Put another piece of bait on. You want to use small pieces of bait for these triggerfish because they have such small mouths. And there's that triggerfish just swimming around, just waiting to be caught. I drop down, and there he goes. He eats it. I lift, and I got him. Triggerfish on the rocks. You can see that mouth of his is a small mouth. That's why you got to use these small hooks. And as you can see, your bait doesn't necessarily have to be on the bottom. There we go. That's my bait right there. Triggerfish swim around at all depths of the water. So, triggerfish is right there, just out of eyesight. And I got him. Actually, that one I snag in the stomach. That's why he's fighting like that. He probably, most likely, was eating my clam, and I felt him biting my clam. And I set the hook and pulled the clam out of his mouth, but hooked him in the belly with the bucktail. So I throw him in my cooler because he's still fair game. Drop it back down, another fish on. Triggerfish. See that little explosive fight he gave right there? Triggerfish don't have, you know, they don't fight too much. They're kind of awkwardly shaped, as you can see. They're not streamlined, which means they can't really give a great fight. But they're definitely very cool fish. Very good to eat. This is in New Jersey, and there's no size limit in New Jersey, no creel limit in New Jersey, so any triggerfish you catch is fair game. I don't think that there's size or creel limits in any state. But it's good to practice selective harvest and throw back the little ones. Save some for the next generation. There we go, drop it right down. Boom, triggerfish on. So that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you can go out and catch some triggerfish of your own.